Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today it's one of my replays, and I'm in the Hannover. Tier 11 German battleship. Well, I guess they're called super ships, but they are basically tier 11 ships, right? So, this is a 4-point domination game. It's on Haven. There is no carrier, there is no submarine, so there is some potential to have fun in this one. So I've already gotten a little bit of damage into this gearing, which has disappeared. There is a Yamagiri around. We'll probably shoot next. And we'll see how this goes. So we have managed to capture C. We've also lost the destroyer already. We don't have any control of B so far. But it looks like we might be able to push this flank. Well, we'll see, right? There's potentially the Giri and the Yamagiri. The gearing and the Yamagiri to worry about as far as torpedoes are concerned. I've got Hydro running, so at least we'll have some warning. And there is a Conde peeking around.
Torpedos auf Steuerbord, das könnte knapp.
Now, I'm in a Hannover, so a pretty good brawling ship, so I'd like to push those enemies, but we'll have to see if that's going to be possible. Also, I've activated my special power here, so basically the gimmick of the Hannover is you shoot stuff with your main guns, then you fill up a bar, and when it's full you can briefly buff your secondaries to have more range and better reload. Now this Shikishima seems to enjoy giving broadside, which I'm absolutely fine with. Also, by the way, the Yamagiri seems to have left this flank, which means I don't have to worry about getting torped from... Well, I mean, he could have torped before he left, to be honest. So there is that. Now this Shikishima is almost down. And there we go, that's a close quarters expert. Now, I was worried about getting torped a lot more than I've been so far, because it looks like the Yamagiri actually just left without torpedoing me, and it looks like the gearing didn't stick around to cross-torp me, so that's good news. Now, with the Shikishima basically just showing a lot of broadside, I might now be able to push around. There is only... Well, the Conde might be in retreat too, so the Petro might be all alone. There's a Marlborough somewhere, but I don't expect the Marlborough to be that close. So it's time to boldly move forward again. Now, wait a moment, is that Conde beached? Well, I suppose we'll have a look there. Oh yes, it's beached. I mean, it's angled against me, but I do have very big guns, although they do lack in accuracy, as one would expect. And, well, I mean, that's fair enough there. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm slowing down in time, so I'm trying to slow down here to keep shooting this Conde, but, you know, it's... Hannover is... Well, Hannover's pretty fat. And she doesn't like to do things like stop moving or start moving. And unfortunately, we've lost the sea cap, but we are one ship ahead. So, at least there is that. Now, we have our large force here, and we need to do something. Obviously, the other flank is sort of getting overrun. The Slava has already abandoned this. Actually, I'm not sure why, right? When you look at this, there's about 4 enemy ships. With the Slava, there would be about 3, maybe even 4 if the Holland showed up. But I suppose, like, it's okay to stay in the bank a bit and have a fighting retreat. But the Slava just outright left. Meanwhile, hello Petro. So the Petro has showed quite a bit of broadside there, and that had cost her. I'm also showing quite a bit of broadside, and that might cost me, but I think that Petro is gonna sink first. Now I'm trying to get around this island and also angle a bit. But, well, okay, that wasn't very good. Our secondaries got this. So yeah, as we've established earlier, Hannover is like big, fat and slow when it comes to acceleration and anything. Now with the Petro dealt with, the Well, the enemies remaining here are, well, there is the Marlboro. Maybe there is something we can't see. But mostly it's just the Marlboro, right? The enemy is suddenly bleeding an awful lot of ships, so that's good. It looks like the enemy has basically collapsed at this point. Although, I mean, ship numbers can sometimes be a bit misleading. I don't know how many low health ships we have. So it could turn around, but let's just say I'm pretty confident at this point that we're gonna win this. Now let's just push... Let's just push that Marlboro. As long as it's in my secondary range, this should be absolutely no problem. Of course, it's going behind this island. So I have two options. I can keep going this way, or I can just turn and maybe sail into the sea cap and, you know, take the sea cap. I mean, taking the sea cap, it's not that important, probably because we have a ship lead, but you'll never know, right, how the game develops, and it's always better to just have the caps and not run into the problem where suddenly an enemy gets a solo warrior cost and win on points. Now the Marlboro was briefly spotted again. It looks like the Marlboro here is in full retreat, but that's just fine, right? We can take the C cap, and then from C I intend to probably push towards B. There's a Kremlin coming. I have no idea where exactly that Kremlin's gonna go, but I mean, it's probably sailing somewhere in our direction, right? What else would it be doing? Yamagiri is still around. It was last seen somewhere around A. So it might just be trying to take that camp. You know, the way this is going, right? If the Yamagiri is smart, he will try to play for points while also torping. And there he is. He's in A, right? So basically, we have a lot of forces in C. If the Yamagiri launches all of its torps in our direction while capping A, that gives him a large chance to get some good torp hits, while at the same time playing for the caps that the enemy team might need. Meanwhile, the Marlboro is visible again, so let's give her a few shells here. Now I'm pretty broadside to a Marlboro, but honestly Marlboro's guns aren't the greatest. And it's probably just going to set me on fire again anyway. If I'd start eating too much damage, I might have to angle, but for now I'm fairly confident. And I don't really want to go after the Marlboro right now. What I want is I want to push into B and challenge the Kremlin, because the Kremlin's actually coming this way. And I should have, well, in a Hannover I feel confident in challenging this Kremlin, let's put it like this. So we take this cap right, then I push the Kremlin and we take down the Kremlin. And then we will see what happens. The enemy Satsuma was just taken out. Once again, it's looking very good on ships. Now, the Marlboro, for some reason, is turning broadside. And that was a very bad idea. I guess it wanted to use all of its guns or something. And now we can charge the Kremlin. Once again, ship-wise, this is pretty much a done deal, I would say. Then again, like if the Shima like double strikes those, the Yamagiri gets a few torps in here. Let's just say I have seen more unlikely comebacks. But still, I could have stayed in C2 to get the cap experience. But as it said, it takes the ship a long time to slow down and to speed up again. So instead I'm gonna go around and finish off this Kremlin. The Kremlin has an icebreaker, but the icebreaker is not very high, so I can absolutely go through its nose if I am high enough. And that's exactly what happened here. Unfortunately, it survived. Now, this didn't give me any citadels, obviously, but it gave me quite a few nice penetrations. And now I'm just, you know, with the next reload, I'm just gonna finish it off. This time I can even go for the citadels. I could have, you know, waited and done this in the first place, but as you see, my reload is quite decent enough to fire again here. And I felt like it was worth it trying to go through the nose there. The Hannover has big enough guns that it can overmatch the 32, and the Kremlin icebreaker just isn't very big. So we've got C, our forces are moving towards the last two enemy destroyers. I'm gonna camp B, Viper is in D, so we aren't taking any risks here, and You know what? Let's speed this up, because the enemy only has destroyers remaining. Now with us taking the camps, basically their chance of victory is dwindling, right? Now, there are a lot of torpedoes between those two ships, and we are pretty close together, so I suppose there is some potential for them, for fun.
Torpedos auf Steuerbord, das
Also,
könnte
I should really be loading high explosive. And that's now what I'm doing. A little bit late, but better late than never, I guess. So I'm reloaded before I potentially run into them. Now, I'm in communication with Viper, and Viper is basically telling me where his RPF is pointing. So I'm trying to intercept the destroyer with RPF, and there we go. So let's slow it down again. And, well, you know, my primary guns were pretty disappointing, especially since I had high explosive preloaded. But in the end, my secondaries managed to get him, and that brings us to a Kraken, which is a really nice finish for this match. That's obviously gonna end pretty soon, so once again we just speed it up and then just go to the results. So here we are. That was a pretty nice game in the Hannover, I have to say. And getting that Kraken and a few close quarters experts and such was obviously pretty lovely. Yeah, I mean, the Hannover is just a big poison. If you enjoy a poison, you'll probably enjoy the Hannover. It's just bigger in every way, I suppose. And if you can get the brawling done, it can be a very fun ship to play. Now, since it's a super ship, I should talk about the economy, I guess. I did make some credits in this game, which is unsurprising because it was a pretty good result. Keep in mind, 50,000 credits were from a combat mission. I am using premium, and I have used 2 flags, one to reduce the service cost and one to increase my credits by 20%, which, you know, aren't that many economic bonuses. But if you'd remove those, like if you remove those bonuses and the combat missions, then you'd see that I'm probably about breaking even, and this is a very good game. So yeah. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you next time.